today's podcast, I want to talk to you a little bit about connecting not with the wicked. We're still talking in our series about fighting the good fight of faith. That is in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 12. And one of the things that we want to remember is not to connect ourselves with wicked men and women. And I'm going to start off in 2 Chronicles chapter 20. And it's going to probably be verse 20, I believe. This is when Jehoshaphat and the children of Israel were struggling. And it says, and it reads, I'll start at verse 18. And Jehoshaphat bowed his head with his face to the ground, and all of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell before the Lord, worshiping. Now, what was going on is that they were afraid because they were being attacked by the Moabites and the Amorites, and they were attacking them when originally when they left the promised land, the Lord did not allow them to destroy this group of people, so they figured they were in allies with them. But now the Amorites and the Moabites and those in Mount Seir, they were coming against the children of Israel. So one of the things it mentions here is to be not afraid nor dismayed by this reason of great multitude in verse 15. For the battle is not yours but God's. And it might seem like I'm all over the place, but not really. I'm trying to make a point, and it talks about believing his prophets and prospering, but sometimes people get that a little distorted when it talks about that. You want to know and understand, and talking about the prophetic is a whole different subject altogether, but we will definitely get into that. Now, as I get back over here, and Jehoshaphat, they prayed and they stood against the children of Israel. And in verse 22, they sang and they praised, and the Lord set ambushments against them, and they destroyed all of their enemies without even lifting a finger. They were, singing and praising the Lord, and the Lord caused those children of Israel that were coming against the children of Israel to go against themselves. They ended up fighting themselves and destroying each other. That's in verse 2 Chronicles 20 and 23. Now, I want to get to the point where I'm talking about not aligning yourself with those that are wicked, and the result of that. Many of you that you've been praying and seeking the Lord about things, and sometimes things can look really good to us when we're in a situation or a circumstance of great need and struggling. Someone can come along and make you an offer that you seem like you can't refuse, but in actuality, it may not be the best thing for you. And now Jehoshaphat, he followed the ways of his father. If you go ahead and read this entire chapter, you'll see that he ruled, he reigned. He was 35 when he started. He ruled and reigned for 25 years, and he never, strayed from that. But let me go down to... I'm going to start reading at 2 Chronicles 20 and 31. It says, And Jehoshaphat reigned over Judah. He was 35 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 25 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Azubah, and the daughter of Shelhi, 32. And he walked in the ways of Asa his father, and departed not from it, doing which was right in the sight of the Lord. And then in verse 33, it says, Howbeit the high places were not taken away. So there was an open door there for the enemy to walk back in. For as yet the people had not prepared their hearts unto God, unto the God of their fathers. In other words, they had not all turned back to God. They still were living in their own ways. Although Jehoshaphat was ruling and reigning and doing what was right in the sight of the Lord. And he was, I would say, maybe just taken advantage of, or he just made a wrong decision, as we will see here. And it says in verse 20 and 35, it says, And after this did Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, he joined himself with Ahaziah, king of Israel, who did very wickedly. Now, the word wicked and wickedly here means evil in principle or practice, deviating from divine law, addicted to vice, sinful, immoral. So he joined himself. He made a partnership with this king to build ships that will go to Tarshish. And it says, and he joined himself with him to make ships to go unto Tarshish, and they together made the ships in Eziongeber. Excuse me on my pronunciation, because that's probably not correct. Then Eleazar, the son of Doviah of Marshiah, prophesied against Jehoshaphat, saying, Because thou hast joined thyself with Ahaziah, the Lord has broken thy works. And the ships were broken, which means to break out, to scatter thy works. And the ships were broken, that they were not able to go to Tarshish. So all of the work that the ships that they built to go to Tarshish, because Jehoshaphat had joined himself with someone who was, evil in principle and practice. He deviated from the divine law. Not saying that you can only associate with people, Christians, but God does not want us to join ourselves to make a league with them, because it will corrupt your character. So he ended up wasting all of those years that they took them to make the ships to go to Tarsus. They were all destroyed. The prophet, he prophesied against Jehoshaphat, and he let him know that because he had joined himself with a wicked king, that the ships were destroyed, and they never did get to where they were going. So think about that as you are talking with other individuals, or you may be thinking about going into business as a Christian, someone who knows the Lord, someone who walks uprightly before God. And you need to check out the people that you are joining yourself to. It may look good on the outside, but just take a moment, step back, pray, ask the Holy Spirit. If he reveals something to you, he will reveal it to you. He will let you know this person, they may be wicked in their deed, wicked in their ways. Their lives are living ungodly, and you may not even know it. So those individuals can take you down a path that causes you to waste time, to waste your energy, to waste what the Lord has blessed you with. Just as we fight the good fight of faith, you might be believing God for something, but don't let anyone come along and offer what you need, because it could be something that the enemy is trying to do to destroy you, to distract you, to keep you from your original goal that God has for your life. Just don't join yourself with them. It's not like you can't talk to people, or you have to isolate yourself. I'm not talking about that, because that's not what we want to do. We want to be light to the world. We want to be a witness to the world, but we don't want to join ourselves with them and do what they do, just to because they might have the resources or the money that you need to do what you need to do. Because in the end, it'll be just as happened to Jehoshaphat. In the very end, either you will be broken, or they will be broken, or things will go wrong, and you'll be wondering, well, Lord, what happened? And sometimes, even if we don't see it coming and it happens, we have to go back and reflect, okay, what did I do that caused me to be in the situation that I'm in? And Holy Spirit will reveal it to you. Trust God, pray, ask the Lord, seek before you join yourself, before you make partnership with someone. You may have known them for years, but that doesn't mean their character is fully what it needs to be. And we're not condemning, we're not judging, we're not doing any of those things. You still want to love those individuals that that God has brought into your midst, but you don't necessarily have to join or partner with them. So thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast, and you have a great one.